Okay, so today is September 30th of 2024, and for some reason I couldn't get my keyboard to work, but it's working nice now. Oh, I almost closed this. No. Okay, so just gonna go over last week's price action as well as the outlook for the week and the um, outlook for today. Okay, so last week we reached my weekly objective. And then going into Friday, once we reached that objective, uh, I was expecting a draw higher, um, but obviously we didn't get that. And the first indication as to why price did not draw higher was pretty obvious, and I was actually pointing it out. But once I didn't see what I wanted to happen, I still remained bullish, which is something I need to remember. Um, Actually, not need to remember, but I actually have that written down on my journal. Let me just check. So one of the not a rule, but something I need to remember is that if you have a 4-hour outlook on a gap, right, and price does not do what you expect it to do, then you have to be more loose on that bias. You have to understand that price failed to do that, and so you have to look at where price may draw towards if it fails to do that in the opposite direction. Um, Give me a second. Right. So again, that was same concept as the daily. On the daily, we failed to we drew into consequent encroachment, but we failed to close above it. All right. So again, when price fails to do that, you have to assume that price, not assume, but you have to look to see where price is gonna draw towards in the opposite direction, because again, price failed to do that. So I pointed out to the fact that the 4-hour, I was following the 4-hour to see how price closed above this area here. And right off the open, we were drawing up here, but then come 10 o'clock, we closed below consequent encroachment, and obviously this one closed, drew higher, but again, price failed to get above that. Same thing here. That's actually SMT on the 4-hour, SMT on the 4-hour. Right, so as soon as that happened, I probably should have looked to see where price may draw towards if it fails to do what I wanted to do on the higher time frame, because higher time frame is above everything else. Um, so I tried looking for a long in the morning session, 10 o'clock session, because I was expecting price to draw higher, but since it failed to do that on the 4-hour, I never actually saw an entry. But what I did see going into the afternoon session, I did see SMT once again, where price swept this high here. It didn't sweep this high here, right? So I expected price to draw into 50% at least if it was going to be bullish. If it was going to be bearish, I expect the price to fail here. So with that in mind, I actually got into a long here and then a short later on here on the 1 minute. So let's take a look at the 1 minute. This was the same play. This long was the same play as the long from this day right here. Whereas you can see after price swept these lows here, these lower time frame lows, came back up to sweep these highs here. Entry was right here, so same play. I was just happy I was able to catch that. Where is it? Right here. Okay. So again, on the lower time frame, price swept buy side, then price swept sell side. Displacement higher, closed above this breaker here, right here, right here, entered here, covered up here. Once I noticed that price failed to get above this high on ES, that gave me SMT, and so and plus that was also 50% of this range right here, right there. I got the wrong highs and lows, but you see the idea here. So failed to get above that, didn't catch this high. I probably should have turtle souped it, but instead what I did is I actually looked at this gap right here, and what I wanted to see is I wanted to first see price close below it, which is right here. Price closed below it, entered at consequent encroachment. Had to take a little bit of pain, but my stop was above this high right here. Entered, covered one into this area here, and covered the rest into this low here, right? So pretty good trade on both occasions, both highs and lows. They were both in micros, so a pretty good end to the week. So today, what am I expecting this week? I'm bearish until we actually, let's go to the weekly first. So for the weekly outlook, I'm bearish because what I want to see is after we took external liquidity here on the monthly and weekly, actually, we took out buy side here, buy side here. We didn't close below it, so that's why I'm a little careful. Since I'm bearish, I'm a little careful. Here we took out a weekly imbalance. We also took out a monthly imbalance, monthly external. So we took a internal. So now we should draw back to internal here on the weekly. So I do expect price to retrace into this weekly gap down here. I have these new week opening gaps as my first objective because I do believe that price needs to rebalance here before it continues higher. The fact that it closed at all-time highs is the reason why with ES I'm a little less skeptical. I'm a little more skeptical. On NQ, I believe that these this internal liquidity will rebalance itself before we get to draw higher. My final objective, if we get it, is this weekly high here. So just because it trades into here doesn't mean that this gap is this gap fails. If it trades to this low, then that means this gap fails. What I want to see is I want to see a draw into this area here. If we're still bullish, I only want to see price trade into the consequent encroachment. But if we trade out into this area here starting today or tomorrow, then I do believe that we get a draw higher, maybe closing above consequent encroachment. So this week, however the weekly closes, will give me insight as to what happens next week. Let's see here on the daily. On the daily, we have a lot of generated liquidity here, a lot of higher lows here. So I do expect these lows to get swept. Same thing here. I do expect these lows to get swept. There is no imbalance here on the daily, but there is an imbalance here on the weekly. So again, I do expect these previous day's lows to get swept. So let's just add these here. Whether it happens today or tomorrow, I'm not so sure. But I'm being mindful of the fact that we have a lot of generated liquidity at the lows. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, we do have, right. Okay, so on the 4 hour, after the weekly took out buy side, we do have a 4 hour buy side that the 4 hour took, right? So we have 4 hour buy side taken. Now we have 4 hour seeking lower liquidity. Same thing here, 4 hour buy side taken. We have this gap here that is holding price lower. So what I want to see today is maybe a rebalance into a small imbalance on the 1 hour up here somewhere, and then for price to continue lower. Same thing again, rebalance into imbalance here, and then for price to draw lower here. If we can just continue to draw lower, then I will look for no entry. Instead, what I'll look for, if we have a clear trend off the Asia-London session, to the downside, then what I look for is probably look for an entry during the 11 o'clock macro. We do have actually here Fed Chair Powell speaking at 2 p.m. So I won't be looking for anything after the 11 o'clock macro. Even the 11 o'clock macro, I might not even look into, because the 11 o'clock macro, we may just start consolidating going into the 1400 macro. So I won't be trading the 1350 to 1410 macro, because that's when Jerome Powell is going to be speaking. So what we'll do though is watch until after he's done speaking. The minute he starts speaking, that's when I look for an entry, because obviously that's when, in my experience with back testing and all that stuff, usually that's usually when when the trade idea shows up, and oftentimes it's usually on an SMT on the 15-minute. So again, I do expect there to be something in the morning, but going into the 11, 12, 1300 macros, I am not so sure there might be anything. There was news this morning, so I do expect there to be some sort of volatility, but nothing after that. PDL, a lot of PDLs here. You know what? Well, depending on where price closes, actually on where price is, I'll either delete or keep these on. Right, here we go. Right. Okay, so let's take a look at the 60-minute. So I'll go over a bullish scenario here here in a second. Okay, so I am watching also this imbalance over here. Tiny imbalance here where price drew lower afterwards. Same thing here, tiny imbalance here. So again, I will look to see how price reacted in this area. I believe we are trading lower. But again, I don't want to short down here. What I want to do is I want to see a retracement back into maybe 50% of this range, or whatever range after we have buy side, sell side taken, if that happened overnight. And I want to see it draw lower. Now, let's say for some reason we draw higher after this, because we did close at all-time highs up here. If we draw higher, then I have no play. If we still have this SMT down here, between this low and this low on both pairs, then I may look to entertain a long to at least 50% of whatever range I'm targeting after buy side and sell side was taken low. Let's go ahead and connect and see where we're at right now. And there are no gaps here on the 4-hour, even on the 1 hour. There are no gaps here, so that is why I'm a little less skeptical. I'm a little mindful that we don't have any gaps over here, so I will be targeting 50% of any ranges, and then obviously I'll have a runner. I'll set a runner in case we do run low. What the hell is this? Oh, yeah, this is paper. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Okay. All right. Okay, so we did sweep this low. Same thing here. We did sweep these lows here. We swept previous day low. We have generated liquidity here. We do have buy side swept here. This is all on this. What did I do? Yes. Okay. Good. All right. So yeah, we did sweep buy side here. Right here. since we are below previous day low, let's just take that out and look at sell side here. Okay, we do have midnight open here. So if you're bullish, which I believe buy side is actually now up here, right here. Okay, because we already swept buy side, we swept sell side, so now logically we would come back up to this area here to sweep. We have 50% of this range here, so plenty of confluence up here. This gap here has repeatedly rejected price. There's no imbalance here. There's an imbalance here though. Actually, no, not there. Right here. Hourly. This is the 4-hour. We swept buy side here. Darn, it's right there too. There you go. I don't need that anymore, but I do need this here. We swap sell side here. Okay. We have equilibrium up here. So we do have no SMT really. Yep, no SMT. This was previous day low. So we have on ES we already swept 2 previous day lows. NQ as well. Right here and right here. Actually right here. So 2 previous days lows have already been swept. I don't need this. I do need this. Okay. So we do have plenty of confluence up here. Okay, so what am I thinking today? All right, so as you can see here, we close below. Same thing here, we close below, right? Actually, let's take a look at the 15-minute because I have a pretty good idea now of what I want to look for. Okay. Okay. All right, so what I want to look for is I want to see a rejection off of this breaker here. Same thing here. As you can see here, we already traded above it, but what I want to see is I want to see a draw into this area here and then a draw lower. This might be one of the few times where I actually mean to take a trade off of the open because I see a pretty good setup. So right off the open, what I want to see is I want to see a quick draw into this area here, and then I want to see a quick reaction because on the hourly, we already saw price closed below this area here, these areas here, after these relative equal lows were taken. Same thing here. Well, not here, but on the hourly we saw a close below that, right? So again, that's what I want to see. I want to see a draw into this area here, and then an immediate rejection off of that. And then I want to see this as being my my objectives. If we break above, actually on, I'm more comfortable taking it on ES. Why? Because ES hasn't gotten up to these areas up here yet. So to me, ES is the weaker of the two. If it breaks this high on NQ, then that trade idea is out, because we are already above 50% of the range right here. But again, I do want to see one more draw into that area. If we already missed it, then unfortunately that's how I'll leave that. If we were to reverse this move, then I would want a deeper draw lower. I wouldn't want a reversal to occur up here. Yeah, I wouldn't want the reversal to occur up here. I want the reversal to occur up here. Actually, down here somewhere. Because we still do have shorts up here. We still do have shorts up here. And again, this will be a quick trade for me. Well, not a quick trade, but what I want to see is I want to see a draw into this area here. Now, if price draws past this high, then I'll quickly take my stop. So I'm using this breaker, this order block as my entry point, and I do hope that I get an entry. But if I don't, then I'll just let it go. We do have a tiny reversal here on the 15-minute, but I'm not really too concerned about that. I am looking at this hourly 4-hour rejection, then hourly, same thing up here. There is no SMT at the highs just yet. Actually, there is right up here, right here. So again, this is the one I'm interested in. Oftentimes, what I see happen is I see price retrace back into equilibrium, whereas the other one does not. And then what happens? We get the draw lower. It reminds me of this move right over here. No, not that one, but similar. Yep, right here. Price retraces. Yeah, right here, this one. Retraces back into this area here, rejects this, but what the hell? Okay, for some reason it's not working. Okay, what is going on with this one? Alright, let's load it up again. Yeah, weird. I don't know what was happening there. Where was it? Yep, right here. Okay, so as you can see here price drew into this breaker here. Here it did not. So I'm looking for something similar today. But my stop will be about above that 50-minute order block. So I'm risking about 4 points to make. Yep, 4 points to make about 20, I guess. 15. All right. So that's what I see on the 15-minute. Whether I take it or not will all be based off of what I'm seeing. Now, if I get stopped, then that's fine. If I get stopped here, then that's fine, because then I'm wrong, and we're gonna look to see how price does after it sweeps these highs up here. Same thing here. Let's reload this. All right. Okay. So as you can see, we're already drawing lower, and that's unfortunate. I would have liked to have caught this, but I am looking to get short right at this body up here. Um, and my stop again will be this. So it'll be about 3.25 points of rejection. I mean of a stop. But it all has to do with how I see price react right off the open. I think NQ might be the one to break this high. But if that happens, what I want to see is an immediate rejection. So yeah. So that's my trade idea. Either way, if this one fails, actually let's put this up here. Yep, there you go. So I want to see price fail to get up to this area. If it gets above it, then I may be prone to just take it off. Because again, one of the signatures that I like to see is I like to see one of the pairs at least get fail to get above that area, um, which would be this one right here. So as soon as it gets up here, I'm going to take it, and I want to see the immediate fail. If I don't see that, then I'll just take it off real quick. And again, this will be a quick entry with a quick stop if I don't see what I like. Okay, so we just got the open. Okay. 58, 83.50. Come on. Okay, so I have my limit order there ready. Come on. Nope. Oh, darn. Don't tell me. I'm just waiting for NQ to get higher. All right, so I have my limit orders there. Come on. All right, so I'm in. Again, I'm going to take my stop as soon as it gets above here. If it gets above, then I'm out. It's a very risky trade, so that's why I'm a little careful. No. All right. I think I'm going to take it off. It's one more tick, and I'm out. Come on. Let me put my stop at 86.50. Where is it? All right, so I have my stop at 86.50. Again, I don't want to see another one above that, because if I do, then I got to take it off. So I have my stop. There is SMT at the highs now. So now it's up to whether this works or not. I think I'm about to get stopped here. Yep, I just got stopped. Okay. All right. So bad idea. Well, not bad idea. I still like my idea of this breaker here, but again, now this is buy side to me. So I do think we are going to have actually, let's take a look at the 60-minute. Yep, right there. So it does look like we're going to sweep this high up here. I want to see NQ sweep that high. And I want to see NQ BS fail to get above this high. So we'll see. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Since we tried a 0930 opening play, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to disconnect. There you go. That way I'm not drawn into an early trade. There we go. Okay, so YM is drawing lower. And there is SMT at the lows. 60-minute right there. I can get rid of this because I don't need that anymore. There's still a chance that we might reject this breaker here. Right there. Or NQ sweeps this high up here. Okay. What was my stop? Actually, I can't check. So we might get a draw into this area. Who knows? But I will be watching these highs up here, because these highs up here will tell me if ES breaks this high up here, then I'll probably get a short opportunity on either one of these. Um, I would like it if one of them at least did not sweep the high, because that would offer me SMT going into the 10 o'clock macro. Let's take a look at the 5 minute here. See if there was an entry long. Well, there was a setup. Actually, no, I don't see one. We did take buy side here and sell side with this low here. Here we did not. Yeah, we didn't. So going into the 10 o'clock macro, we've already taken sell side. Now we're supposed to take out buy side. So I would like it if one of these did not take out buy side, and for me to get in there and use this high as the stop. Okay, so let's say the only way I would be opposed to this short idea would be if we continue to see this placement. Because what I don't want to see is I don't want to see candles um, like this. I don't want to see that here. If we see that, then we might continue to draw higher, maybe up until this low, this high here. Um, so yeah, I'm just watching this right now. Maybe about 5 more minutes, because I do want to see how the 15-minute closes at these areas up here after it swept these highs up here. Again, we already took out sell side. Sell side. Right there. Yeah, we took out plenty of sell side. So yeah, my trade idea is still short. Um, the only other scenario I could see is both of these highs get swept, and ultimately this high gets swept, Asia, because this is London here, London. So if Asia gets swept, then that's where I would want to get short if one of these does not sweep that area, but it does sweep this area here. So that would be SMT with me. But again, it all has to do with how price prints here going into the 10 o'clock macro. I don't want to see displacement candles. If I see displacement candles, kind of like this one, then I'll have to rethink that. Let's go ahead and connect and see what we have. It looks like NQ is still drawing, not NQ. YM is still drawing lower. But let's see what ES and NQ are doing. Okay, so ES and Q drew into 50%. ES has not. It still needs a little bit of ways to go before sweeping these relative equal highs here. And Q swept buy side. Take this out. Buy side liquidity. Buy side liquidity was taken up here. So London swept. That's SMT here at these highs. I would like to see maybe one more draw up to this area here, whereas NQ ES just draws up to here. Nothing yet. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. We do have displacement. So if I were to take a short, I'd want to take a short up here somewhere, and then target 50% of this range, and then see if maybe later on into the afternoon or later on into after my entry we continue to displace lower. We have this gap here, which I would like to see get turned into an inverse later on. Okay. All right, so now what I'm looking for is I'm looking for, there you go, yep, that's what I'm looking for. So this becomes buy side. Actually, no, not yet. This becomes sell side. What I would like to see is I would like to see sell side get swept, which would be this right here. And then buy side get swept. This one hasn't swept buy side yet. We have relative equal lows down here. Now, just because buy side was swept, well, just because we already swept, just because we haven't swept buy side here doesn't mean that we won't see it. All right, so this is buy side. As long as, if price just keeps on drawing highs, then that's fine. What I want to see is I want to see sell side get swept. And then a sweep of buy side. Right there. So I want to see a sweep of sell side first, and then buy side. Till I see either, then no entry. The one thing I do like is the fact that we're not we're not continuing to displace. We're just consolidating for now. If we displace through here, meaning after this sell side is swept, if we displace through here, meaning we just continue to draw lower, then I may look to enter down here somewhere for second stage of distribution to these lows down here. But as it stands right now, we're not really doing anything. And Q continues to draw lower. So I'm just gonna zoom out to the 15-minute because I do want to see SMT. I mean, there is SMT already, but I do want to see SMT somewhere here. If my model does not draw itself, then I won't even look to entertain this trade idea. All right. So we just swept sell side. Now I want to see what price does. We're about to close on the 5-minute. We do have first stage SMT up here. So let's see. that. Just not yet. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. We might have something here. Oh, we have something. Okay. All right, so I want to see how price reacts here. Okay, so I just took a short there. I like this reaction up here. 2 stages of SMT. First stage, second stage. Between those over here. My stop is this high here. The reason why my stop is this high here is because my original plan was to want to see price sweep this high here, and then we get the rollover. Eventually, if we get down to this area here, I'm gonna look for my actual model. But as it stands right now, I'm just watching, see what we do down here. We are at that 5-minute gap right now. This is the entry I was looking. This is why I got in here. I like the quick reaction off of this. My entry was right here. So I'm risking about 14 points. Oh, it is FOMC week, so I do expect to have a pretty good. Well, no, I do expect Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to deliver quick, and I am expecting Monday to be bearish, very bearish, depending on well, not depending, but especially where we're at right now, because my objective is down here. Yeah, my objective is down here, so I will be looking to see that. Well, we touched consequent encroachment. I want to see continued down move. Oh, and this is my my target. I don't want price to come back into this area here. In fact, let me put in my stop at 41. Yep, 41. Maybe even 50% of this range. I don't want that anymore. We are still within this breaker here, so we'll see. Yeah, I don't want to see price revisit this area. If it does, then I'll just take it off and then get short again if it comes back up here. It all has to do with how the next 5-minute closes. We do have, well, we don't actually. Every new low, I want to see a close kind of like this right here. If we quickly retrace like this after we break a new low, well, actually this doesn't make sense, but again, I want to see close displacements lower. And this is 50% of the range. So again, I want to see displacement. I don't want to see price fail to close below those areas. So now technically this is sell side here. Well, it is sell side, but what I want to see first, I want to see sweep of this low. I mean, this is buy side. I want to see a sweep. Come on. Here we go. So we just swept this low here. Okay, so quite possibly what I want to see now is I want to either see displacement. Yep, I want to continue to see displacement off of this draw lower. Perfect. Okay, so now what I don't want to see, well, two scenarios. Price retraces, sweeps this high here, and then we get the rollover, or we continue to see displacement. It all has to do with how this right here draws. We have SMT at the lows. We have this gap here. 50% of this range. Seems like we're respecting that right now. If we get a close above this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it and reload up here. But if we just continue to draw lower, then that's fine too. It might also be that ES is the, well, NQ is the lower of the two. So again, if ES sweeps buy side, then I might be enticed to take a short here as well. Because if NQ does not sweep this high up here, then it might also be that that this is the weaker of the two. And when price fails to get above the previous high, then that's the market tipping its hand to you as well. So for now, it's just watching to see what price does. Come on. Let's continue to see this placement. Where did the 5-minute close? All right, beautiful. Again, we still technically have this to worry about. Well, not to worry about, but we still have that model I'm looking for. But if we just continue to draw lower, then that's fine too. I'm not too worried. We're getting above this order block. If we close above this right here, then I think we're going for buy side. But if we don't, then that means we're bearish. Where are we here? So right now my stop is at break even, which is right about here somewhere. This is a mitigation block. So if anything, I want to see price fail to get above this right here if this mitigation block is going to act as resistance. I see nothing but time distortion here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this right here as an entry. Okay, I'm in. I want to see an immediate dump. I'm in at 74. Wait, I'm in at 84.75. I'm gonna keep my stop rather quick. I'm gonna take my stop here on NQ below this low. All right, got that set because I want to concentrate on ES. And my target is gonna be this low down here. I want to get 10 points, so we'll see how that works. My stop is if price, because here price failed to get above the order block here. So I want to see price fail to get above here. Well, if price closes above here, then that's my stop. There we go. Come on. We do have SMT at the lows, but I'm bearish, so just watching to see how price reacts if it wants to come back into these areas here. Let's see where the 15-minute closed. All right, so there's no gap to stop it. Oh, and then my NQ trade was out, covered into that, so that's why I'm looking at this one. All right, we're picking up volatility. Come on. So we haven't swept this low yet. We do have a gap here that we're creating off of the 15-minute. The 1 hour, the 1 hour closed pretty bearish as well. All right. I'm seeing something here. Something that I like. Okay, so now this becomes buy side. I don't like taking 11 o'clock macro plays. I mean 10 half-hour macro plays. But I think that's what we're seeing here. But yeah, just still watching to see how this develops. Oh, I already made my loss back and then some with this trade, actually. Actually, no. Made back, oh yeah, I did. So now it's just this one. Okay, so price did touch this tiny mitigation block as well. So I like how it's rejecting it. If it keeps doing that, then I do expect these lows to get swept. Price is failing to get above 50% as well. Perfect. So at this point, I'm just going to put my stop, which is 74. So about a 2-point stop. Okay. All right. So I got my 2-point stop there. All right. So I'll call it. I'll call that it for my for this stream. Again, two-stage SMT, this high, and then on the 15-minute we had this high and this high here, along with this high and this high here. So that's two stages of SMT, both one on the 1 hour and the 15-minute, and the rest is just yeah, it's just gravy now. So this right here is my target. My exit now, my stop at this point is maybe a couple ticks above that. I don't expect price to come back up here. I do expect NQ to just continue selling off today, but I want to take my my profit up here. I do still expect maybe some sort of liquidity sweep. If this trade lasts going into the 11 o'clock macro, maybe some sort of liquidity sweep at one of these highs. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you tomorrow.